Just had a funny moment to myself. My Antonucci astroplane from gastroenterology is working at the moment, apparently. Okay, so those are all anatomical phrases, I suppose you could say. Right. It is a PH. All aces, right? All right, so going back to it, I wanted to start with a preface. Preface being a preface. Like, I want to do this BID, on VIN as a VEN. So this way I cover all bases, BASES, game, GAME, and ground, GROUND. Okay, so there is a TV show while I was growing up that I actually really appreciated. It was called Frazier, FRAZIER, I believe. There is, first of all, Frazier I absolutely love. I loved his character. I thought that he was great. I know I have a personality on these whatever. Actually, it's more like in front of everybody, I guess. Not when I'm alone, right? But when I'm in front of everybody, it's more of a Lilith, I think her name was. Lilith, right. I have a character, very, what we call dry humor. I mean, it's 3, I'm a 3, so it's dry humor. But I find her, she's the type of woman I actually could get along with. But there are none of those in America that I've ever met. I have had a few friends, but again, I mean, it's a human thing to collect people throughout a lifetime. I'm just fruit waiting by the fruit stand. So if I had right, okay, so let's do, I have a fruit stand and I have a vegetable, right? Okay, so my fruit stand being navel orange, right? Because navel orange is a range of possibilities. It's the return. It's the 2 planks from the AN being the hyper. I mean, these are high science terms. I don't think it really pertains. So, and they're in the high science departments. But then there's the right. Then I drew it. I'll put it up for the omega. I don't know if you can see it, but whatever. So that's it. But so. That's that. The vegetables, there's what I call collard green. And again, I know I'm in America where there is some rowdy, upset people of all kinds from all walks of life, which is where my preface goes back to. You have to remember, I have to speak not only to royal charade in the Kingdom of London of problems behind a gate that she has never invited an extraterrestrial into, even though they use the systems, they claim ownership of some sort in a royal court. Some of us call it Jester Court, the rest of us call it whatever. It's supposed to be a private trial. Here's the thing. Actually, that's what it's really turned into. It was supposed to be celestial, but so what I call collard greens, and now I know I don't want to make people down south, when I say riff raff, my spelling and my jargon, JARGON, and my lingo, LINGO, and my what is the word? I had it this morning. It is my, it's a slang, SLANG, like a sling that you put your arm in as like a support. while you're trying to communicate in a broad channel, BROADCHANNEL, because what message I have to speak about, I think Ronald Reagan had mentioned it. If an alien came to visit us today, what would they have to say? Yeah, well, I would have told you had he given me the mic, but this way I could have been with Niklaus sooner, except that I wasn't invited to the White House. So, anyway, going back to, right, so there's a royal court, then there's royals elsewhere. I don't know who they are, what countries they're in. I don't know how to address them. I don't know if they're still going by, like the white courtier of prince. Are they, because now that gets confusing with the principles of science, now that he and I are returned. And we have a lot of work cut out for us before we even got here. And the list is growing by collard green and by navel orange stands and fruit stands everywhere. And then there are some leaders that are descendants of past, I want to say godly-like people, because they, on one hand, don't want to disrespect the god of systems and system, because some of them have legends, and remember that when we come back, it is like a sacred spiritual thing, and it's a renewing and a renewal of the clock with us and humanity, no matter where and what walks of life you're in. So that's why, like, when I speak about, see, now I have to go across oceans, cultures, and whatnot. When I get mad, first of all, I'm in a timepiece. So although these vids and vins were ahead of time, and they had training classes, because I remember Niklaus telling me, right, in our time capsule, they're like, yeah, you have no idea how many people are actually going to watch these. I'm like, oh, I could have done without that, but as long as it's private. And they pretend like they've never seen them or whatever. Right, so we go back to, right, because I had an angry Korean meeting with Jenny in a, what I call, it's an encapsule. Then I have somebody who was talking in what I call imagery at this point. I am a Gery, about the interview with a vampire. Same moment that I had in the same restaurant, actually, as Mr. Ranger Hockey Game with the tawny skin. I had another interview that evening, but not in actuality. It was more of a live caricature that he said he paid a lot of money for, because he wanted to sit with me and he wanted to get to know me, because he had a lot of things going on in his whatever, and he needed to be able to explain it in vivid detail because people would believe him. And I said, well, I don't know why you would pay for something like this. I said, I would gladly meet with you in real, but go ahead, But right, again, it has to be tuned into a time about what it is that's going on in his life. So this way I know how to talk accurately, and I can match up the detail reporting for fruit stands and vegetables who have chemistry problems at the moment due to prior chemistry experiments and not knowing who to believe and what's changing and why is it changing so rapidly and whose fault it is and so on and so forth. So I will go with on United States of America soil, where there's some form of a Marvel Comics DC at the moment. There is a, right, and Mar being water and war, and Val being Valhalla. Hello. I am Allah from Valhalla. I'm also Isis. So, right, what else am I? I have another one. Oh, Vishnu, yes. So, I have a couple of titles in my Legend and Legacy. If you can look up a Vin accurate record, you'll see all of my virtuous names in there. Not that I have been called them in this, I don't even know what I wake up in, I don't even know what to call this. I mean, yeah, I'm going to call this the real, REEL. Like, are you for real? Yeah, I don't know which real you are. Are you REAL or are you REEL? Because it gets confusing trying to figure out your head cases, who bought them, and I know that I have closets of imagery that it could be for research, but it shouldn't be researched by like just anybody, and not by university or exchange students. No, 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 no. It is very, really extraterrestrial, which is where I was supposed to go to clean up some of those closets of my own future to fix questions and transparency issues. Because then the thing is that I mentioned Chaser yesterday with the alien, I want to call it biosignature, on a special glass that it comes with imprinted. It's not brass, but it's a special kind of metal on the inside, and it wires out, and it holds a lot of information. But again, that is very cuspid and cupid, which is both Niklaus and I. We are the beginning and the end of all, now and throughout all time. And then we cycle back into your cycles, which sometimes gets confusing to reintroduce ourselves when you have gotten so far off the apple cart. So anyway, I am talking at high extremes, and then I'm talking to left behind in the dirt like my parents were who went to sleep. So if you could just bear with me on trying to follow along without getting angry, because I'm not in your industry per se. I have a very broad range. I have a navel orange. It is very broad range. There are grew up little green men in Russia that are specially trained ops that I would not mess with on your best day. And so I pay them homage by mentioning them. And then I heard U.S. Special Ops somewhere. I don't know where, guys. I've heard that there's a National Guard somewhere. Don't know where. They keep the seeing eye dogs around this place because, quite frankly, nobody's really watching over New York or Queens. Just saying. And so it's a little confusing which part of the English language you've held on to for your careers. I am a career extraterrestrial trying to figure out humanity. I think it does say that on my very real REAL and REEL paperwork in somebody's office that I've never met. Or maybe I have. They just haven't identified. Whatever. So going back to chemistry. Oh, vegetables. Right. They are the table people. TABLE. There is a table of vegetables. It is a garden variety of vegetables from whatever your local flora and fauna, FLORAFAWNA, is used to seeing. Mine is at the moment, nobody grows anything. They grow decent flowers. They're not even English garden worthy, but whatever. So that's how that's how we left Aronav 2,300 years ago. And we left vivid, detailed instructions based on our findings of what, when we return, may or may not still be going on. So that's how we preface our children and then going into and then back from and so on and so forth, because we are the beginning and the end of all, right? I already said that. It's Omni. 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 Like, you still go, right? Like, that's like Zen. Yeah. Zenith, that's where it comes from. You and I are the Omni. It's the world at large. We are the frequency, which is the M. It's also the Omega. And then it's an alpha system of one solar sun, being he and I in the one universe that you are going to get. So let's try to figure this out while we're here. As quickly as possible. That's why we do up ahead stuff, but whatever. And that's why we give heads up. Yeah, it's heads up. Yeah. Oh my God, that might be coming up. Yeah, you might want to go check that out. Yeah. What happened to sending him with those? Because, like, I could use a permanent one of those heads ups with him showing up and not leaving. Why are you getting so many up aheads and nobody's giving him heads up? Yeah, see, that gets dangerous for the world when the departments fall apart. There's a chemistry department, Inside of it, when the N is taken out of ministry, it reads chemistry. Yeah, that's like where you practice on one another like medical doctors. Like, I know I could fix this guy if I just had some salt water and a toothbrush. Okay. Yeah, no, actually, I know. That's our joke because I always forget that that's all I really need to brush my teeth, but whatever. Going back to, right, it's like a leaky sieve, I swear to God. It's like it comes in and it comes out. It's like a radio station. That's really what it's like. It is so, Pegasus radio station, based on all the interference you got going on between radio waves, and then you got microwaves, and then now you got these new 5G antennas. Yeah, and that's my other thing I got a question on. I'm Godfrey, Godfrey. We come with a plank, right? It's a 5 with a little line, makes it distinguishable from a regular 5. Roman numeral, you do a V, which is fine. But what's with this 5G on the telecommunications? Like, why is that such a big thing? First it was 3G, then it was 4G, then it was 5G. Yeah, he and I are all the above. Why are so many telecommunication companies, like, popping up all over the place? Last time I checked, the more you talk doesn't make you smarter. In fact, I have talked very little my entire life, and I am talking to myself in a camera just so I can release my future and get to where I'd like to be since I was little. Okay, so, right, the more you talk does not make you smarter, right? We already knew that. So, why on earth do you need instant communications? Just curious to everyone at 7.5. I mean, I know as a country, as a nation, as naval arms and legs and, arms, legs, and navels, right? You need, like, a line of sight, right, into what's going on around town. That used to be what the sheriff was for, and they would know stuff, and you'd know who to go talk to because he was the smartest guy in town. So, I know every small town has something along those lines. And then he had friends outside, right, that's the Davy and the Navy, that you just call to an outside source, and you go, no, one of my kids is asking about this. You heard anything about this? I don't know. Should we make a note of this? I don't know. Is this what they're asking about? I don't know. What do we document? What don't we? I mean, it seems kind of silly to me, but then again, in the future, what they're saying, they're saying that they don't even talk right in the future. So I don't know. And it's not the extraterrestrials' fault. It's like humans. Right. So, right, why did we do this with the phones? And, because then all of a sudden the girls, they didn't want to leave the house to go talk to one another in gatherings. They wanted to hang out near the wall just in case someone was calling. And then that became a problem, because why are you home all the time? And then, right, then there's nothing to do, right? See, then they wanted to work, which is fine. And going back to this, like, I mean, where I came from 2,300 years ago, we did not work like this. You have a husband, he has a very important job, or whatever function he was given in the workings, and then you just tag along and help wherever you can. So I don't understand where this, like, two-earner income pricing most people out. Some people are making billions in, like, price tag wars and bonuses, while Godfrey, waiting for her, somebody special and important that was sent with her, to come for her, so she could be taken care of, because I wasn't born with any money, wasn't born with any opportunity, wasn't getting anywhere the way you built the world. So what was your purpose of taking him away from me? Just to punish me further? I mean, or was it to hold me hostage away from him and try to extort him for more and more and more stuff? I mean, you got to think about where your place in this story is, because you had lots of task lists and lots of objections. There shouldn't have been any. You knew who the two objects were that needed help. You had some form of something that could have been helpful and useful. But then I hear that if I say that the army, because don't get mad at me if I get my colors wrong, but I'm just hypothetically speaking on, remember, my connection to this world is not working. So collard green, right? If you were a collard green in, say, state of something that looked like United States back in like 1800s, when it was respectable in New York, or somewhat. So 1800s green, right, meant you were some form of land force, I believe. And blue or navy would be you were some form of roamer, I hate that word, ranger, in like you roamed, Roamed. This gets tricky, right? You roamed between multiple land states and people in charge. I believe that's how it was set up. So why is the Navy got aeronav issues, and then they're like, well, it wasn't our Navy. And I'm like, well, we're with you guys, the green guys. Right, yeah, but funny because Russia thinks they're the green guys, and you keep telling Russia that they're commie bastards and that you hate them and that you're not listening to them. Or was that the lower commie bastard in the China closet trying to get out with nuclear waste and sell it to the Americans, and you just got lost in linguistics? I'm just confused. It happens with the mandarin, right? We give them a mandarin orange. It's so beautiful. I know. They think that it has something to do with a navel orange. It may, but that is in a larger 2,300 years ago scale, not today. Today's day and market, it is like a whole new set of humans. And I am like losing you by like leaps and bounds, yards and feet, and it's just like, hello, same woman, same 3-year-old, same videos you had, same training you did, and what on the world happened? Yeah. So now is the Ministry of Defense, are they, and is there more than one, or is there just one in the place that calls itself a kingdom? Now, are they united with, like, the Pakistani king? Because he wrote me something on Facebook. Again, can't vet myself whether it's true or not. It looked true. He looked true. But then again, he had an artist thing. I don't really know. How do I vet that? I can't. I don't have lavender haze reports. I don't have purple anything I can ask for help. So again, like I'm doing this extraterrestrial style where I walk parallel universe, trying to fix and patch and mention on my daily routine what anomalies I'm seeing in my visage that's between the paranormal science and the what looks like, if you looked on a camcorder, like plain PLAIN. Right, but again, like aeronav equipment where it's like LiDAR, you've got gridding, you've got the green and black grid, you get the red grid, and then you got infrared. There's like so much more science, and it's like all intertwined with like you see dark matter science, you use utilities in some jobs somewhere in some industry. God only knows. I don't know how you even sign up for something like that. I'm not even kidding. Like in this, Benjamin was an ROTC, but then nobody could teach him the, not circadians, the cadence. I don't know. I get that wrong again. So I'm going off of trying. Okay. So, I couldn't help him with that because I've just not my thing and didn't learn any. And so, and Tiafreo is just fucking useless. He always says, it was from the military academy. Really? Which one? The one that you got kicked out of in, like, 9th grade that was, like, a peewee went to the big old circus tent? Because that was not military school by any grew up right in Russia standard. Just saying. That was Long Island boy, uh-huh. And I know it was expensive, and I know him and Andy Collins had like a really great time, and kudos for you all, but I would not say out loud that you boys went to military academy anything. If you met somebody who really went to military academy. Just saying. So, let's see. Right. Now we've got... I hope that clears up a whole lot. What else we got in, right? Oh, and then I hear that there's something going on with investigations with the blue uniformed people Don't know what level. Is that the Jag level? I'm assuming my dad had a blue Jag, so usually those details line up. But again, I don't know if you let other colors in there, because then there's the Royal Courtier, which has the more suitish jacket, less. They've got hanging pins rather than the bling on the lapel. Let's think about this. Right, I mean, these are the uniforms I've seen thus far, from afar, no less. Yeah, that goes back to standing room only. Right, but it's not because I need you to stand, it's because I am the only one standing up for myself with Niklaus and wondering what the hell happened to the rest of the world coming to help us, but, right, 41 more years off track. What else? Right, and who does the Ministry of Magical Defense, Ministry of Defense, being the Dark Arts Department of Computer Science and Leasing and whatnot. I mean, again, it's an affirmation. It is an infirmary. We told you when we were waking up based on past crimes that were still not being prosecuted. We don't know why. You keep bouncing the ball back and forth between, is it the Royal Guard, or is it the U.S. Navy, is it the Marines, is it the Land Force? Like, which one of us was the problem? Right, see, that attitude, not going to be helpful, because it's in one of the reports. It had names. They're dead now, so it doesn't really matter. Why are you taking on the whole, upset about your department when we're trying to help you fix it and you could be the superhero? You see, that's what I don't understand. Why are you going to be the tough guy when you are going to look like an asshole? Because now we're really here and everything's verifiable and traceable in the moment, in order to fix our lives and humanity. Because the rest of the lead in has totally debauched this, I can't even begin to tell you. So now I see on some form of, they say formal hearings. Is that public? Is that private? I don't know. They've got some Comey guy from FBI, again, who's the Federation work for. Are they working with the Pentagon? Or those are the Navy blue people? Right, again, see, nobody explains this stuff. You don't do color, you don't do Scotch Guard, you don't explain anything. How the fuck do you want Interview with a Vampire to go and try and help you all out, and Niklaus wasting his stupid ass 41 years chasing everybody around? Nobody's got any answers. I don't really know. I don't know. Everything's changing. We don't know why it's changing. Yeah, it's because you're not fucking moving. And we're moving before, and the enemy got you by, and then you're like, wait, what? That doesn't even make sense. Oh, yeah, I know, right? Because I tell time forward, backward, and sideways, and you're still walking around looking stuff up, right? The good old-fashioned way, face-to-face. That actually works best at this point for documentation, having a witness. Yeah, you need a God's witness. Just talk to somebody, and it'll be on a report somewhere to protect your ass. So, let's see, right, about how humanity really lost its mind. It had nothing to do with us. We were trying to save you before we got here. We left you plenty of, task list, to-do list, asked for a lot of help. A lot of fight broke out, right? That's the other thing, though, is that you keep, telling everybody they need to go to these college institutions when they stopped hiring for land policing jobs because they were full and at capacity. Because, there's only so much ratio you can do before you run out of money and funding, and before your seams start to split, and then you no longer have the, COs, or the POs for the BO, the body order, communicating in a justifiable manner that leads everybody in congruency. Then you have splits, and then there's differences, and then it's well, why? And then you have to try to, right, I mean, it can only get so big before it all falls apart. So I'm just confused where we needed to pump money into Ivy League institutions for the mental asylum, to train children to think like the untrained, the mental institution asylum teachers. I mean, honestly, if you saw what America was pumping out, it's oh my God. It's easier to kill them. It just is. I mean, can it change its mind? I don't know. I saw it on TV. It was like really adamant that it was right. And nobody needs a rabid, it's a right when you're all wrong. And we know better. That transparency. And like, oh my God, the parents wouldn't listen and now they're giving them rocket fuel. Oh my God. Okay, so let's see, where are we in, right, so they pump them into institutions. Why not, like, take all that money and all that hard work and stick them out in a field somewhere? Teach them how to dig in the dirt and, like, plant some crops and, like, farm and help America's agriculture for American fruit stand and vegetables. Just curious, because, and dairy farmers, I heard that they're having a problem too. I don't know what the agriculture's like outside. I hear South America is doing well, and Central America. Some of our imports come from there, but again, shouldn't be importing. Where is the USDA on this? Are they still like Justice League? Are they the Justice Department? Are they like just fruits and farm stands? Or are they... Yeah, then that gets confusing, right? Because I'm standing room only, and then how do you explain? Yeah. See, the linguistics, sometimes I lose you, because you think it's one thing, you think I know one thing, and then I'm like, oh man, I did not know that, but now that you pointed that out, now I'll have to try and keep that in mind in the future. In soliloquy, I may or may not have already done, and I don't know if I can re-analog it over. Oh, this is like some sick trilogy at this point. I mean, there's like slight variations in my frequency tuning. All right, I'm gonna leave it there for a moment. Right. Yeah, but just real quick, the women's rights thing like really pisses me off. So does the slaves. Like, listen, nobody's telling you that the people who did it were right. They're not, but we're over it. We got like real shit going up. Like when I was born, I got mad at Shauna because it's like nuclear waste is going to be spilled out all over the world in our lifetime. And you want to talk to me about how your mom was in South Korea and's mad that I said something about the Warden of the North being a better leader than what's going on down south in our lifetime. Get over yourself, Shauna. It's nuclear waste. Trying to save more than just your human. Fucking moron. That is like the Me Too generation. It's so fucking annoying and obnoxious. It's like, what about me? What about me? What about me? Well, see, I'll answer what about you if we're having a conversation and it's pertinent. But if I'm having a broad channel conversation and then you're going to drag your ass like a mule because you're like, I don't really see what's in it for me. How about living? Because, I'm really getting really sure that, like, at 41 years and not having sex with his wife, that he came to the planet for in perfect cuneiform, which is what we were promised, because there were a whole lot of you that said you had some action, that you could get a plan done, no problem, and then keeping us apart for 41 years to then do this. I mean, there's no upside for him and I, except having sex with each other a lot and hiding from you all. And we're not able to do that. So how angry do you think him and I are going to be in the future?